Cyril just appointed Roelf Meyer, who's a former National Party minister, as the new ambassador to the United States of America. Let's get into who he is and why this has caused so much controversy. Meyer is 78 years old and he entered parliament in 1979 under the National Party, which is the apartheid-led party. He climbed the ranks very fast, and by 1986 he became the Deputy Minister of Law and Order, which was basically a portfolio that oversaw the police and keeping order in the country. His portfolio was in charge of the bannings, the crackdowns, and detentions during this time. In 1988, he became the Deputy Minister of the Constitutional Development portfolio. This portfolio oversaw the legal architecture of maintaining white minority rule. In 1991, F.W. de Klerk appointed him as the Minister of Defense, although he only spent 9 months in this role because many of the people, his generals that he was looking after, didn't take him as seriously as his predecessor, Magnus Malan. In 1992, de Klerk appoints him as the Constitutional Affairs and Communications Minister. It was this position that put him at the center of the negotiations for the end of apartheid. During this time, CODESA, the Convention for Democratic South Africa, had broken down and talks had collapsed. Meyer and Cyril Ramaphosa, who was at the time the ANC's chief negotiator, held over 40 bilateral sessions, bypassing the multilateral forums that existed at the time, and engaged in direct conversations to try and de-escalate the country as we were on the edge of a civil war. The result of these conversations was the Record of Understanding, which was signed in September of 1992. From this, Meyer then became the government's chief negotiator in the full multi-party negotiating forum in 1993. And after the negotiations concluded in November of that year, he became the government's chief representative in the Transactional Executive Council. This was the body that managed the transition to democracy. After 1994, Nelson Mandela appointed him the Minister of Constitutional Development and Provincial Affairs. This helped him work alongside Cyril Ramaphosa in the first government of national unity. In 1997, he resigned from the National Party, and in 2006, he announced that he would be joining the ANC. So now fast forward to today, and South Africa has no diplomatic representation in Washington since March 2025, when the previous ambassador, Abraham Russell, was effectively kicked out of the country, criticizing the MAGA movement. Cyril Ramaphosa tried to have the position filled by ABC Jonas, but he was since rejected by Trump and his administration because of previous posts where he referred to Trump as a racist, homophobe, and narcissist. The post has been sitting empty for more than a year now, until yesterday when it was announced that Roelf Meyer would be taking on the position as the ambassador of South Africa in the United States. Now, because of his political history and the fact that he served in the National Party, it's created a massive stir on social media, specifically X, where many are debating if this was the right move from the president to appoint a white Afrikaner who formerly served on the National Party as a means to appease the West and Trump and their narrative of white people are being killed in South Africa. I'm Chloe Maluleke, and this is IOL. Stay tuned for more updates.